The opinions expressed are those of the show's host and not the staff or management of Port St. Lucie Broadcasters. Any reproduction without written consent of WSTU and WPSL is strictly prohibited. Now it's time for Quality of Life Radio, brought to you by Cigna and Aetna Medicare. Here are your hosts, Gary Owen and Tom Bouvier.
Hello and good morning, everyone, and thank you for tuning in on this extraordinary Tuesday morning. It's August 8th, 2023. Can't believe we're already in the month of August. Just a few more months left, Bill, and we do want to thank you, though, for listening in. And this is the Quality of Life radio show. I'm your host today, Tom Bouvier. I'm sitting in for Gary Owen, who is away on business in the beautiful state of South Carolina. As a matter of fact, if anybody is listening from South Carolina, or you have family, friends, neighbors, or someone up in South Carolina who's an insurance agent or knows an insurance agent, please give our office a call, because Gary has 3 nights of agent appreciation event, a party in South Carolina. One will be in Charleston, Columbia, South Carolina, and then Greenville, South Carolina. So 3 days in a row, I believe, starting tomorrow night. But give our office a call at 772-210-1020. He would love to meet all of the different health insurance agents in the state of South Carolina. And we have a special guest with us, Bill Bedwell, who is our first time on the Quality of Life radio show. He is actually the sales and marketing director for Owen Insurance Group here in Stuart, Florida. Not only is he the sales and marketing, but he's also a licensed insurance agent. He knows Medicare and other insurance products like the back of his hand. And I'm excited to have him here with me as my co-host, since I'm normally the co-host. But we're going to go ahead and get started. We are broadcasting simultaneously today on WSTU 1450 AM and WPSL 1590 AM. And you can also find us on Facebook. You can go back and review some of our past shows, because we do bring great information that people can use. And you can listen in anytime during the day. So, Bill, we're here for several reasons, and give us a first reason why we're here.
Thanks for having me on the show. There's several segments to our half-hour-long show. And then the first, we're here to bring relevant content to our listeners, which means information you can use in your life.
Absolutely. And secondly, it kind of expand upon that, we do like to share a quote of the day, kind of inspire people in their lives. And we like to bring insurance straight talk. We call it the no plop zone. Gary and I do, because we do try to weed out all the BS, all the fuzzy voices, all the confusing voices, and we bring you information so you could avoid the pitfalls. We believe in good old-fashioned transparency, straight talk that will help enhance and improve your quality of life, because our mission at Owen Insurance Group is what?
To simplify insurance planning so you can enjoy the stress-free life you deserve.
Absolutely. And Bill's going to give us the quote of the day as well, and then we're going to get right into our topic.
If it's important to you, you will find a way. If it's not, you'll find an excuse.
I believe everyone listening can certainly say amen to that, because when we believe something is very, very important and has to be done, and it seems like there's no way it's going to happen, what happens?
It happens.
It happens. Why does it happen? Because we find a way.
That's right.
I mean, they say necessity is the mother of invention. So people, when they want to find a way and it's important enough, they will find a way. Otherwise, they'll just find an excuse. And, of course, as human beings, we're good at both of those, finding ways and finding excuses. Mm-hmm. I can certainly attest to that. And so, again, we want to thank you. This is the Quality of Life radio show. It's sponsored by Owen Insurance Group. We're an independent insurance brokerage firm here in Stuart, Florida. We service people and educate people about insurance planning throughout the entire state of Florida. But as an agency, we're actually appointed and licensed in over 40 states, I believe, something like that. So if you have family and friends, or you move out of the beautiful state of Florida, or you're listening from another state besides Florida, please give us a call at 772-210-1020. and most likely we will be able to help you, and if not, we'll be able to steer you in the right direction. So I know people don't want to hear this, but all those Medicare commercials are going to start kicking up really soon.
Yep, here they come.
Every year, they really start kicking in around the last quarter of the year. Mm-hmm. And the reason is because that's the Medicare's annual enrollment period. To be able to enroll in a different plan for next year, the dates are October 15th through December 7th, but agents are allowed to start talking about the different plan benefits for 2024 next year as early as October 1st. So if you have an agent, and don't try to get any information out from them before October 1st, because they're not supposed to tell you. But we want to give you, we're going to list the top 10 mistakes to avoid regarding Medicare, and then we're going to give 5 things for you to consider during that annual enrollment period if you're on a Medicare Advantage plan. Yeah. And Bill, I believe that's coming on up to almost 50% of Medicare beneficiaries are on Medicare Advantage plans. But the first thing to avoid is not knowing when, where, and how to apply for Medicare. We're going to give that answer here shortly. Now, what's the second mistake, Bill?
Not knowing how much you'll pay for original Medicare. That's parts A and B.
That's right. A lot of people think, hey, I've been paying in all these years. Certainly it's going to be free.
Yeah.
Well, they're in for a surprise. Yeah. The third mistake to avoid is choosing to only enroll in original Medicare without a supplement or a Part C. Now, there's some very, very few small reasons why that might be a good idea, but for most of the time, it really could be a mistake.
Yep. And then there's deciding not to enroll in a Part D or prescription drug plan.
Okay, because, all right, we'll tell you some reasons why that could be a mistake, and we believe it is a mistake. Yeah. And next is not knowing the difference, and here comes those acronyms. Don't you love them? Industry insider talk: IEP, AEP, OEP, SEP, OMG, OIG. No, the last two are not related to Medicare, but these are different enrollment periods, and you need to know them because this is going. If you're on Medicare, potentially, most likely, this is going to be your health insurance for the rest of your life. So you need to know the difference between those EPs.
And another mistake to avoid is not knowing if you should stay on your group plan or enroll in a Medicare plan.
Okay, obviously that's for people who are continuing to work, and we can also look into retirement plans as well. But it could be mistakes of not knowing the difference and what the best way to go would be. Number 7, not knowing how to choose a suitable and cost-effective Medicare plan, and that's what Owen Insurance Group is all about. We give unbiased. And how much does our advice cost? If people wanted to find out, choosing a suitable and cost-effective Medicare plan, how much? I mean, people probably need to sit down when Bill answers, but how much do we charge for our time, effort, research, and counsel and advice?
Are you ready for this?
Yes, I'm ready.
0.00.
0.00.
Right, yeah.
That's dollars or cents or both?
Right, that's both. Yeah.
Both, that's both.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there is no cost or obligation for our counsel, advice, recommendations. We're like real estate agents. We'll show you plans. We'll educate you on a plan just like they would show you homes and educate you on a home. And when we find the right fit, if we help you enroll in a plan, we do get compensated through the carrier. So you would never have any cost or out-of-pocket cost just for sitting down and talking with us. Number 8, not taking advantage of the Medicare AEP. That's one of those EPs. That's the annual enrollment period between October 15th and December 7th. Many people call it the open enrollment period, but there's actually is another time of year called the Medicare Advantage open enrollment period. That's between January 1st and March 31st, and we're going to explain more of those differences later. And the next?
And then there's number 9, misunderstanding the difference between a Medicare Advantage plan versus a Medicare supplement.
Okay, so there is a big difference. Many times people get them interchanged, and Gary and I have spoken a lot about the differences, but we'll expound more upon that as we can. And just so you know, this is a two-part series. I should have mentioned that earlier, but next week you want to tune in. You'll hear Bill and I continue this whole topic of, the 10 mistakes, the tips about Medicare, the 5 things you should do during AEP, and the difference between Medicare Advantage and Medicare Supplements. So make sure you set your time, same bat channel, same bat time. Next Tuesday morning at 10 a.m. we'll do part 2 of this presentation. And the 10th and final mistake to avoid regarding Medicare is not choosing the right independent insurance agency or agent to be your unbiased guide. And I think that's really something that really should be number one as far as importance.
Right. Keyword here being independent.
Independent, absolutely.
Yep.
And unbiased. I mean, we are an independent insurance agency, and we're unbiased, and we're a fiduciary, and we're appointed with the majority of the Medicare carriers out there, all the ones you really want to look at, and we give unbiased information. We're a guide. We can help you along the way. So, all right. So, Bill, why don't we talk about the next big EP or enrollment period that's coming up? And what is that called?
AEP.
AEP. All right. And what does that stand for?
Annual Enrollment Period.
All right. Thank you. So you can go ahead and start off and kind of explain what number one means as well.
Sure. So 5 things to consider during the AEP, or Annual Enrollment Period, if you're on a Medicare Advantage prescription drug plan, or what we call an MAPD plan. Number one thing to do is review your annual notice of change, or they call that ANOC, ANOC. Make sure to review that thoroughly, because that's going to tell you what your plan is doing next year, the upcoming year. Some of you are enrolled into plans and you're happy with the way things are going, but check that annual notice of change, that your ANOC later, because things can change for the upcoming year. You may be on a give back plan, and they might not be offering give back anymore.
That's right.
You might be getting the discount maybe you're getting a over-the-counter card, and you're receiving $300 every quarter, and now it's going to be $75. You need to make sure that you check your annual notice of change. That's coming out pretty soon. As soon as those letters get in, take a look at them, and then review those with your independent agent. Make sure that you're getting and doing the right plan for the upcoming year.
Absolutely. And that ANOC should be arriving at your doorstep before October 1st.
Right.
According to Medicare, you should get it if you're on a prescription drug plan, a separate Part D plan, or MAPD, as Bill said. And another thing to consider is speak to a licensed independent Medicare insurance agent to conduct a thorough review. Just like you have an annual review for your health, hopefully you do, at least once a year, sometimes more. And of course, we talk a lot about dental insurance and the importance of keeping good oral health. Just like you have an annual review for your eyes, your teeth, your body, you should also do that for your health insurance.
Yeah.
And that's what this is about. And number 3, Bill?
And review the plan's costs, their co-pays, their deductibles, the maximum out-of-pocket, or the MOOP.
Yep.
Make sure to look at those things. It's important for the upcoming year of how things are going to affect you potentially.
And as to that point, Bill mentioned earlier, review that annual notice of change. I know a lot of people like to use that as if they have a little outdoor fire or fireplace. Mm-hmm. They use it as kindling to get things started, or they use it as a doorstop. But, that thing is not to be thrown away. That's your health insurance plan. You need to know if it's going to change, and I shouldn't even say if, but what in your plan is going to change.
Right.
Because there are changes every single year. Mm-hmm. And one of the things you got to look at, Bill said, the costs, the co-pays, the deductibles, the MOOP, those can all change for next year. Mm-hmm. And you may think, boy, I have a low deductible, I have a low cost co-pay, I only have a max out-of-pocket of this amount, and you're telling all your family and friends, you don't look at your ANOC, your annual notice of change, and what happens? 2024 comes around.
Right.
you're stuck on a plan that you really don't recognize because there were changes. Yeah. So please, please, please give us a call. I mean, we are those independent agents who specialize in Medicare, and we, not only us, Bill and I, but we have an entire group of local agents and across the entire state. Also, the plan benefits and the coverage rules. And when I say coverage rules, most particularly in regard to different procedures, sometimes even on an HMO plan, you normally get a referral from a specialist, but sometimes you don't need a referral for certain things. Right. Maybe like, I believe, a mammogram and certain different visits. You do not need referrals. So there are rules regarding your health insurance. Also, for prescription drugs.
Yeah.
What kind of, there's different rules. Do you know some of the rules regarding medications, the utilization management?
Right, yeah, and the plan's formulary could completely change for the upcoming year. The medications that you had that were Tier 3 this year might be Tier 4.
That's right.
So
meaning more moolah,
more money out of your pocket. If you're not careful, you have to pay attention to what those changes are, and it could go the other direction. That Tier 3 or 4 medication, maybe they had a change in their copyright law, right? That medications have to get.
That's right.
They get copyright laws. Well, when those copyrights are up, guess what they can do? Now they can put out generic forms of those medications, and those medications, if they're available to you at that time, you're good. You can switch.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's so true, because some people are waiting around for those expensive brand medications for that copyright or the trademark to go away, right. And then companies might come in with a lower cost generic. Now keep in mind, sometimes even though it's called generic, it's still a Tier 3 medication, right. Because it's still very expensive. The components are still, it's a commodity, it's a product, so it's got to be put together. It could still be expensive, but also, there might be a quantity limit, a prior authorization. They may say, well, if you're going to be on this drug next year, we're going to have you go back and use some less expensive drugs called step therapy. In some, with the opioids, they have other rules, limited coverage rules with opioids especially, to kind of curb the epidemic that's out there. And then last of all, the plan's formulary. Bill alluded to that a moment ago, and the word formulary is just a fancy word for saying these are the drugs that the plan will help pay for. Okay, you may have a copay, you may share in the cost, but if it's on the formulary, the list of drugs covered by the plan, it's like a doctor being in the network, a drug being in the network or being in the formulary, and that's what the word formulary means. Okay, and everything we just talked about, very, very similar way. This can apply to the ACA, the marketplace plans. People who are under 65 and you're on the Obamacare plans or the marketplace, whatever you want to call it, those plans should be reviewed annually as well, because if you just stay on the plan and roll over, I guarantee you they're going to jack up the price. Even if your income has not changed, even if there's been no change in the actual plan, which there most likely can be or will be, but your premium will go up if you don't do anything. If you do an annual review, an agent like myself and others can actually help find the same or better plan for the same price or better price than you had. So get that annual review. So, Bill, let's get into explaining a little bit about the what we talked about, the top mistakes to avoid. People on Medicare, when, how, where, and why should you apply for Medicare?
Right. So, first of all, when you're turning 65, know that you have 3 months before, the month of, and 3 months after to enroll into a Medicare Advantage plan.
Okay.
It may be a little bit different for the supplement plans. Now, you still have a 7-month period, but it begins when you turn 65.
There you go.
That's the only difference. And the thing is that now you have choices to make. So typically we tell people about 100 days prior, you're going to start receiving information from Social Security, and now that would be the time to get enrolled, get onto Social Security, take care of enrolling into and make sure that you're enrolling in Part B. And we're going to talk a little bit more about, Part B and whether you should enroll in that or not if you're still in a group health coverage plan. If you're still with an employer, you don't need to enroll in Part B, but you're going to get on Part A. So take care of that. Make sure that you're following up with that. Remember, these Medicare Advantage plans, they're not set it and forget it. I wish they were. If it was more standardized that way, it'd be fantastic,
Yes.
like the supplement plans, right?
Exactly.
But with Medicare Advantage plans, it's not set it and forget it. Every year you're going to get that annual notice of change. You should check to see what's coming up. But for when you're starting off, when you should do this, at least the 3-month period before your birth date, start applying for your Social Security. Go on there and get your Medicare taken care of. Get your Part B. So, what do you do if, for instance, if you want to take care of that? If you want to go online and do it, well, it's a little difficult sometimes for a lot of people. I mean, I'm kind of techie now, I wasn't when
You were the tech master.
yeah, I'm kind of techie now, but the thing is that not everybody is, and we get that. So it can be a daunting task to get on the phone, call Social Security, and wait for forever.
Yeah.
Am I close? I mean, it
Well,
takes
could be.
45
minutes to forever. Yeah.
It takes a while. So get yourself a snack. Get set up in your chair. And get ready to hold on for a little while. Going to the website, it's just a lot quicker to get that done. The other option is, of course, you can contact us here at the office. If you're ready to get started and you want that information to go, start contacting us right when that happens, and we'll get you the right information, get you to the website, or at least help you get enrolled as well. And what do we charge for that? 0.00. Yeah, we don't charge anything. What if I don't sign up for Part B within the 7-month period, that initial election period? Well, there could be a 10% penalty each year that you go without Part B. Now, do you get Part B when you first get Social Security? Is it automatic? Well, technically, Part A is what you're going to get automatically. Now, if you want to get on Part B, you have to make sure that you're on Part B.
That's right.
Okay? Because if you're still working for an employer or group coverage, you don't necessarily have to do that, right? So, unless, of course, they're going to offer you some type of stipend towards your Medicare plan or something to that effect, then you can enroll in Part B. Otherwise, Part B, you're going to get onto that when you turn 65 and you're retired, and we'll get you taken care of for that. And then, of course, how much do they pay for Part A and Part B?
Absolutely. So again, a lot of people think that there's no cost or premium to the government for Medicare Part A and B, and just one last thing: if someone is receiving Social Security already, because you can receive your Social Security benefit check, cash money, if you paid into it the 40 quarters at age 62. So if you're 63, 64, and if you're 64 and 9 months, you're on Social Security benefit, you're drawing Social Security check, you will get your Medicare red, white, and blue card automatically sent to you in the mail.
Yeah.
Okay, Part A and Part B. But how much will it cost? Well, Part A, generally speaking, is free if you have 40 quarters, 10 years of work history. If you do not have 40 quarters, let's say you qualified and you did not pay into Social Security, but you qualified because you came legally from another country and you getting your citizenship, and you have been paying in to Medicare for 5 years, but after 5 years, you can actually pay $506 a month for Part A, and if you have 30 to 39 quarters, the premium is $278. And Part B is typically $164.90 per month. That would be drawn out of your Social Security benefit check if you're on Social Security. If not, you'll get an invoice and you'll have to pay it. But our time today is coming to an end closely, so we're going to wrap up this part here, and we're going to finish 3 through 10 next week, as well as a few other things regarding Medicare. You don't want to miss the part 2 because it's going to be just as exciting as part 1. And boy, don't you love this insurance information. But we appreciate you being with us. And in saying that, let's see here, a couple of more things. So we're going to start off next week with whether you should stay on original Medicare Part A and Part B and just get Part D or not. But again, we want to thank you. This is the Quality of Life radio show. I'm Tom Bouvier with Bill Bedwell. You can give us a call at 772-210-1020. Remember that beautiful quote of the day: if it's important to you, you will find a way. If not, you'll find an excuse. But we want to thank you for joining us. We hope you've enjoyed the show. Please share us with your friends, family, neighbors. Stay safe, keep healthy, be happy, and enjoy your quality of life. And stay tuned to this dial because up next is the Brian Kilmeade Show. Have a great day.